Hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon from wherever you are. My name is Johan Stradet, and today is our fifth day on this 21-day challenge of Awaken Your Spiritual Neurons Journey. I hope that everyone had a chance to check on the previous videos on the previous four series, which are important because each one of them connects with the following one. And today we're going to talk about, actually, we're going to practice um, building your neurons empire in a sense of a contemplative yet realistic um, state in which I'm going to use a little bit of the meditational portion of it, um, because I think that today is one of the most important portions of your journey in terms of transformation. Today, we are going to go into a serious, deep, deep reality check of our lives. And I say this because, again, every time that we talked about transformation, right? Transformation is not something that you get from a guru. It's not something that you actually give it, as something granted from someone. You don't even get it from me or anything. It's something that you have to experience uh, by yourself under your own terms and with your own experiences. Uh, when you get to read my book, you're going to see that in this chapter, which is called Your Neurons Empire, I tell uh, a very deep portion of my experience as to when, you know, that experience took me into a place in which I literally had to learn to surrender, right? And that is part of everybody's hero's journey. Okay, so one of the things in terms of transformation is realizing that you are a hero. Okay, but here's the thing: there are two types of heroes. There's one hero that is an imaginary hero, and the other one is a real hero. And there is a difference between both of them, right? I mean, an imaginary hero, uh, it's the one that, of course, is going to be dreaming a lot about the fact that one day he wants to get to the other side of light. He wants to get to paradise. He wants to live in this eternal place or in this eternal happiness, right? But the ideal hero or the imaginary hero, all that he does is he stays in his mind uh, in that continuous dreaming state, and he doesn't really take the actions that are needed to go in that journey. Okay. And most of the times, I must say, and this is something that I passed several times, I was actually willing to get into better states of reality, but I was too afraid, to be honest with you, of not knowing what was on the other side of that journey. So I always try to play safe. That's one of the things about the imaginary uh, hero, that he always wants to play safe. He is kind of like, um, he wants to have a plan B. All right. I'm just making a quick parenthesis. As every single day I'm recording in Instagram and in YouTube, so you're gonna see that my face moves around. Okay, going back again. So in that imaginary hero's journey, right? Nothing really happens as an action, and the reason why is not only because the person is actually trying to have a plan B. I think that most of the the times, the imaginary hero is the one who is actually trusting his ego, and this is something that you need to take into consideration. Okay. Uh, so, what's the opposite of an imaginary hero? The real hero, the one that um, it's ready to jump to the unknown. And that's what uh, awakening to a process of transformation is. It's really awakening to the consciousness that you are uh, jumping into a totally different new life, a totally different new personality, if that is the case, that you need to actually change or transform something. Okay. But here's the thing that is different from an imaginary hero and the real hero. The real hero, he doesn't expect any result because he's jumping into the unknown. He's jumping into a journey in which he's not really sure if he's going to make it, but still he's willing to take his chances to jump. And that's the real journey that um, every call or every invitation to transform is actually um, hidden in a terms of a message, right? The invite to have a realistic transformation is for you to be willing to surrender whatever is holding you back. So, what we're going to do today, and again, right, I'm not going to go through my story because that portion of the heroes, let's say the realistic jump that I had to make 3 years ago, uh, I want you to read that story to have it as a reference, not to compare yourself, but just to give you a guide and to help you actually go through that process because it is not an easy process. I know that. But again, it depends on how hungry you are to make changes, how hungry you are to transform yourself, right? So that's the reality of the hero. The hero, when he knows that he is really hungry to get to the other side, to be a higher self, he will do what it needs to be done in order, right, to get to the other side, in order to experience the higher version of himself, right? And if we take into account the first series in which I invited you to write down what's your biggest preoccupation, what keeps you awake at night, what are the dilemmas that you're facing in your life. Today is the day in which you are going to start experiencing truly surrendering the dilemma or the experience to your higher self that is within you. So I want you to, in this moment, I want you to breathe very slowly and deep. Be calm and experience the silence within you. Just follow my voice and forget about everything that is on the outside world for a moment. Sit in stillness with your feet on the ground and simply detach at this moment from your worries, detach from the bills that you have to pay, or from your family issues, or from your relationship issues. Detach from that. Detach from everything that at this point in time is really, really holding you. And just focus on your breathing. If you need to close your eyes, you can actually do that. You can close your eyes. You can um, leave them open if you want. But the important thing here is for you to stay still, to be aware of your consciousness, to be aware of your thoughts, and simply let them move, let them flow. I'm going to make a series of questions in this contemplative state, or in this meditational state, that I want you to gain the awareness, and I want you to take those questions very seriously. At the end of this meditational state or contemplative state, I want you to take your notebook and write everything that relates to the questions that I'm going to ask for you to respond. And I want you to sit alone, of course, in the room that you are, or in a, nice and quiet place, to reflect on the transformation that you want to pass. And I want you to ask truly to yourself if you are really willing to let go of everything that up till today has been holding you, everything up until today that has been like a chain. I want you to reflect on the personality that up till today you have had, or you have been. Maybe your personality and maybe the situation that you're passing through is related to some of the inner unconscious or conscious attitudes or behaviors that you know that you having within yourself. Maybe your personality is being surrounded today by guilt, by shame. Maybe your personality has been surrounded by fear of getting things done. Maybe you have been feeling that you're not worthy. So then the question is, are you willing to let go of your fears? Are you willing really to let go of the guilt that you have been feeling for 2 months, for 3 months, for a year, or maybe the guilt that you have been feeling all of your life? One of the things that I write in this third chapter, there is a section that I call "In order to build an empire, you need to burn the castle." And what I mean by that is that if you want to get to the other side of your fears, you have to be willing to let go of the fear. Fear is only in your imagination. And yes, it is real here in your mind. When you're awakening to a higher consciousness, you have to be willing to let go of that guilt that you have always felt. You have to be willing to let go of the sense of feeling not good enough. And that's what it means to burn the castle in order to be able to build an empire. In other words, you have to be willing to break the habit of being your old self and be willing to construct your new self image. So, this is the other question that I want you to really think, contemplate, and respond is, are you willing to let go of your self punishing self image that you currently have? And are you willing to experience and create a new self image? Are you willing to jump into the abysm of the unknown, trusting that the universe, trusting that God, your inner guard, your wisdom, trusting that you are protected and that something that is higher than yourself is in fact guiding you to that higher self? Are you willing to make the necessary changes that are required for you to build that higher self? And believe me, I am being very realistic on this, not because I have studied this in books, not because I have read it or because I have followed the gurus from the courses or the workshops that I have done. I'm telling you this because of my own personal experience. the experience that I am actually sharing in my book, which again, I want you to read those experiences if you get a chance um, to read them so you can have that reference. The fact is, and this is something that is very, very critical. I've seen many people, and this is the ordinary of uh, what we see in society. Everybody wants to make changes. Everybody wants to transform. Everybody who is passing through a difficult situation wants to experience happiness. Everybody wants to somehow, you know, be on the other side, and using, of course, sometimes the comparison of social media, right? They start dreaming and seeing themselves in the shoes of other people's happiness. But here's the thing, it is not on the social media, it is not on the gurus, it is not on the externalities that you are going to be able to change your self image to obtain that happiness that you're looking for. It's not. And unfortunately, when people are faced with the situations and with the reality of what it really takes to make a transformation, guess what happens? They're not willing to make the changes because of the fear, because of the guilt, because of the voices inside of the mind that are always telling you, I'm too afraid to do this. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I don't deserve. And because of that, people don't make the changes that they need to do. That is the crude reality. That's what I told you in the previous series, right? Everything is a process. Transformation takes effort, and it means taking actions to fight all those inner monsters that you have inside of your mind that are always talking to yourself, that are telling you that you're not good enough. You have to be willing to fight internally that fear and that voice that tells you that you cannot do it. So I ask you again, and while you are contemplating this state, and in this moment you're sitting and you're simply breathing, I ask you again, are you willing to let go of that old personality of yours that is full with fears, with anger? Are you willing to let go of the pain? Are you willing to get out of the current situation that you're going through? I ask you, are you willing to be radical? Because transformation, awakening into a spiritual journey, means to be brutally honest with yourself. It means being completely radical. And for that, You need to ask yourself as well how hungry you are for change. You really need to ask yourself how hungry are you to be willing to manifest your biggest dreams. And that takes courage. So even though that you are already a hero in within the whole hero journey of your life, you are the hero that has overcome so many dilemmas in your life or so many traumas in your life, right? You are still, and this is what life is going to actually uh, push you to experience, to be a real hero, to be the realistic hero of your own life. Life is going to actually call you and it's going to ask you, are you willing to be your own creator? And are you willing to let go of the old personalities? And if the answer inside of your brain is yes, then life is going to somehow push you. It's going to be it's going to give you like a little push, right? For you to jump. And you have to be willing to trust that when you're jumping into the unknown, that something is going to hold you, that the universe is going to somehow protect you. That's what you have to be willing to pass through in a transformational process. So I ask you, are you ready to make that jump? Are you ready to really commit yourself to build a higher self, a higher version of yourself? Are you willing to wake up every day early in the morning to do whatever rituals can help you to make the changes that you need to make? And again, are you willing to face your shadows? Keep breathing while you're sitting and while you are actually contemplating this moment. Because these are very serious questions that you have to be willing to listen. And I know that when I'm asking the questions, you know, there are those little voices in there. Oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this journey, if I can really experience the real journey of being my own hero. Remember that I explained the difference between an ideal or an imaginary hero and a real hero. While the imaginary hero has a plan B and is trusting his ego, the real hero trusts that in his journey, something greater will hold him and protect him. The real hero is the one who is willing to make his own journey to transformation without expecting any results. And this is very deep and very profound because it breaks the loss of every logical and rational way of thinking. Every journey that leads you into transformation, when you make that jump, you don't know what's going to happen at the other side. You have no way to know if in that journey you're going to make it to the other side. What are you going to find? What other demons are you going to have to explore or to fight? You don't know that. And that is the mystery and the secret of the real hero, the one who is willing to die. Okay. Uh, Don't take me wrong. Okay. We're not talking about you making a jump so you can be suicidal. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about making a journey in which you're willing to die to all of the situations that you have put yourself into that had somehow made you prisoner of your own limiting beliefs. And those are the things, that is the journey that you are being invited to do. That's why I brought uh, the experiences that I had. Not that I'm not going to have any others, of course, I will. Um, but in some way, what I have seen and what I have experienced with my own personal journey is that there was one day in which I had to choose between my things, my personal belongings, my personal material things, and I had to choose to either save those things or save my life. And with that, I was actually found in a situation in which I needed to confront not only my fears, but at the same time, I needed to see and witness with my own eyes that I was really strong. That is what the real hero journey is about. Is about putting yourself to the test of fire to see what you really are made of, to discover your essence within of you. There is that little voice in there that may be saying that you're not strong enough. But reality is that you don't know how strong you are until you jump into the unknown, until you jump to that moment in which you really experience being a hero. And for that, you have to take the actions. You really have to close your eyes, trust in the universe, and say, God, you are greater than me. You are my protector. You are my life. You are my healer. And that's when the real healing process starts. So today's challenge, and I want to thank to the people that are on Instagram that I'm actually seeing this video, thank you so much. I encourage you to see or to watch the previous series. This series are a series of 21-day, um, I call it a 21-day challenge of transformation to awaken your spiritual neurons empire. So I encourage you to watch the previous series. Do so. And that will help you understand the process, that will help you understand what we have been talking about today. Today's challenge, what you're going to do after this live is over, is I want you to go to your notebook and I want you to reflect on those questions that I just mentioned to you. What are you willing to die today? Are you willing to fall as many times as you need to stand up, to fall again, to stand up, to fall again, and to try it and try it again? Are you willing to give a chance to yourself to be greater than your fear? Are you willing to be greater than your guilt? Are you willing to be greater than your body? And are you willing to be greater that than that specific worrying or that specific dilemma that you're going through today? Are you willing to surrender it to the universe? Those are the questions that I want you to reflect today. But remember, you need to write them down and you need to write everything that you feel and that comes to your mind in regards to those questions. Write down. Because when you write down, what happens is that your brain starts to activate neuronal paths to help you get the answers that you are actually looking for. Okay? So that is really the purpose of you transforming into a higher version of yourself. Are you willing to be the light despite all the darkness around you? Are you willing to face your own shadows? Once again, thank you for joining this series, this video this morning. Today is a day for introspection and reflection. I'll see you in the next series. God bless you and have a wonderful, wonderful, transformational day today. Have a wonderful inner transformational journey today. Peace and oceans of love.